दादा इधर आ. All the participants over here are requested to please turn off their phones. No one's phone should be ringing when the chief guest is arriving now. All the volunteers of the respective committees present over here, as well as the shadows, you are requested to please wear your ID cards. Your ID card should be displayed so that we can differentiate among the members and the participants.
How to get the most of Grammarly free.
It's Kayla on behalf of Grammarly to tell you all about the free version.
Against the dignity of this college will be held liable and will be against the dignity of this college will be held liable and will be punished at that very instance.
Gonville is having a what?
He's having a Gornville!
What do we... Hello. Volunteers, make sure that this event is going live on social media, so ask all the participants and the students to be quiet. Prashant, just vacate that area because the chief guest will be entering from that side. And ask everyone over there to be quiet. volunteer? Akshat, Harnish, just make those people settle down. The chief guest will be arriving now. Participants and the shadows, please settle down. The chief guest will be arriving now. Abhishek, just make them settle down right now. Prashant, make everyone settle down. The chief guest has arrived now. Everyone, please be quiet. The chief guest has arrived. Prashant, don't let anyone open the door and don't let anyone in now. Prashant, just make those people sitting over there quiet because the chief guest has arrived. Stand in respect now.
शॉट मध्ये थोडी ऍक्शन घाल.
तुम्ही स्निकर्स खा. भुकेमुळे तुम्ही रोहित शेट्टी बनता.
Good morning, one and all. Respected dignitaries, esteemed faculty members, distinguished guests, participants, and my dear friends. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all for the 11th edition of Astraea, the national level Intercollegiate Fest organized by KES Shri Jayantilal H. Patel Law College. I, Aryan Jadhav, President of the Students' Moot Court Society, take immense pleasure and honor to host the inaugural ceremony of Astraea. Over the past 11 years, Astraea has evolved into a platform that not only nurtures legal acumen, but also fosters critical thinking, advocacy skills, and more than that, the analytical reasoning, which makes the student reach and achieve success across the country. The name Astraea, which is inspired by the Greek goddess of justice, symbolizes fairness, wisdom, and pursuit of truth. Values that lie at the very core and very heart of this legal profession. This fest brings together some of the finest young legal minds who will engage in intellectually stimulating competitions such as moot court, negotiations, crime scene investigation, and eagle eye. These competitions are designed to challenge participants, pushing them beyond the confines of textbooks and pull them into the real world where the real scenarios and strategies will be there. Articulation and presence of mind plays a crucial role over there. Astraea is not just any competition. It is a celebration of legal intellect, advocacy, and unwavering spirit of justice. It is an opportunity for participants to learn, grow, and showcase their expertise on national stage. The presence of such remarkable talent and esteemed dignitaries makes this event even more special. We are truly honored to have you and all over here as we embark on this yet another remarkable edition of Astraea. We are grateful to Bombay Bar Association, Aarti Bookstore, Taxman, Chawla Publication, Seed, Savities, our college alumni like Advocate Aisha Thakkar ma'am, Advocate Nipun Mehta sir, Assistant Professor Vidya Kulatkar ma'am, and Assistant Professor Maitri Raut ma'am, who have graciously sponsored Astraea 2025. It is my privilege and honor to introduce the esteemed dignitaries gracing this occasion with their presence. First, it is an absolute honor and privilege to welcome our chief guest, Honorable Justice Ferdinand Rebelo, sir. Sir is the former Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court. His illustrious career and contributions to the field of law serve as an inspiration to all of us. We are honored to have you, sir, here today. Further, we are also privileged to have with us today the core managing members of Kandivli Education Society, who have always extended their unwavering support to all our endeavors. We have with us today Shri Mahesh Sasha, who is the President of Kandivli Education Society. Shri Naveen Sampath sir, who is the Honorable Treasurer of Kandivli Education Society. We sincerely appreciate your invaluable contributions in making this institution a grand success over these past years. We, we also have our esteemed and beloved dignitary, Dr. Viral Dave ma'am, who is our respected principal and whose guidance and vision continues to inspire us in our academic and extracurricular pursuits. Now, as a mark of wisdom, enlightenment, and knowledge, the lighting of the lamp is a sacred tradition that signifies the removal of darkness and ushering in of knowledge and learning. I humbly request our esteemed dignitaries to come forward for the lamp lighting ceremony.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हर्तु मे पापं सन्ध्यादीपनमोऽस्तु ते
Now, I take the privilege of inviting Shri Mahesh Shah sir, the President of Kandivali Education Society, to share a few words with us.
Namaskar. It's an honor to be here amongst you today, and I welcome Dr. Rivelo to grace this occasion amongst us today. Before I start, I want to know how many mobiles you have. How many? It's a legal question. How many mobiles you have? Are you sure? If I say 2, it's an eagle-eye question. We have 2 mobiles. Our mind is mobile. Am I wrong or right? So everyone has mind or not? Mind is mobile or not? When you are here, you think something else or not? Can you control your mind? So mind is mobile. And that is most important when you come here, that mobile mind has to go on a off mode. Because unless this mobile mind is off mode, you will not be able to get anything out of this conference or of this confluence. Number 1. Another simple eagle-eye question. बाल्टी नीचे है, ऊपर नल खुला है, क्या होने वाला है? हाँ, what's the answer? A simple eagle-eye question again. बाल्टी नीचे है, नल खुला है, what will happen? Null is continuous flowing. Did I say बाल्टी उल्टी है, सीधी है? So the question is this, हमारा मन का लोटा या बाल्टी उल्टा होगा तो कुछ अंदर जाने वाला नहीं है. So let us make it first open. So this is the way where the conference starts. Because unless and until your mind is not here, nothing will get in. So let us be here with complete mind and attention in this conference. When we pray this deep lightening, means अज्ञान का नाश होना, और हमारे पास we know less than we know, we do not know more. हमारे पास अज्ञान ज़्यादा है ज्ञान से. तो ये जो हम प्रकाश का यहाँ जो उद्बोधन करते हैं, प्रकाश को यहाँ लाते हैं, तो हमारे अंदर जो आज आए हैं उससे 2 दिन के बाद में थोड़ा ज्ञान प्रकाश ज़्यादा हो, इसके लिए ये कॉन्फ्रेंस है, वो हमें समझना चाहिए. So with this open thing in mind, with your mind here, I am happy to start this function, inaugurate this function with all of you today. Today's trend is Mahakumbh, trended everywhere, right? Generally we perceive that Mahakumbh is only डुबकी लगाओ पुण्य मिलो, ऐसा नहीं है. That is the thing which has been not understood well. People stay there and exchange the views of how do we live happily in life. That was the reason where the people stayed there. Today I see here a kumbh, a Mahakumbh, yeah, Chota Kumbh, where 24 college students have come together to understand the legality of life and to get something more out of it. So it's a kumbh where you get together and there is a confluence of Ganga Yamuna, but the Gupta Saraswati है. तो गुप्ता सरस्वती दिखती नहीं है, आपको समझ में नहीं आएगा, मगर 2 दिन के बाद में वो गुप्ता सरस्वती आपके पास ज़रूर आएगी, वो मुझे 100% गारंटी है. तो आप में गुप्ता सरस्वती जो यहाँ आई हुई है उसका वरदान प्राप्त हो, उसकी कृपा प्राप्त हो, वो मेरी भगवान से प्रार्थना है. The word Astraea is a goddess of justice. Now the question comes, why the goddess has to be there? Justice is justice. Why you need goddess of justice? Why you bring goddess to the justice? Justice is a question of intelligence and goddess is a question of a belief. Who has seen the goddess? So why both things are considered together? हमें ये समझना चाहिए that whenever there is a goddess, there is a goodness. So simple knowledge will not get you anywhere in your life. When I was seeing the biodata of Dr. Ribello, sir, I got one attention to that subject was active in trade unions and social movements of fishermen, today tapers Konkani language movement. Now, sir is legal dignitary, but in addition to this, he has seen other world also. It is not me and mine, it is we and ours. When the goodness comes in life of a lawyer, then you have to expand your horizon from not to yourself, but to the surrounding of your society. That is a need of an hour. मगर अभी होता क्या है, हम पढ़ते हैं तो सरस्वती यहाँ है, सरस्वती का पूजन करते हैं, मगर ध्यान तो लक्ष्मी में है. हम कितना कमाएंगे, जरूर कमाएं, जरूर ज़रूरियात है जीवन में, लक्ष्मी के ज़रूरियात है, but at the not cost of our goodness, our not cost of our human being. We are first human being and then lawyer. So that's why the goddess of justice is there, where there is a continuous remembrance in life that first I am a human being. I am whatever today is with the help of the society, and I am indebted to the society to be a good gentleman, to be a good nice man, and to be a good human being of this great nation. I am sure that with this, with the help of Dr. Ribeiro and all this, who have come here, you will enlighten yourself to somewhat higher extent. So with this, I would like to finish my statement, but with only one simple, again, eagle-eye question. रेलवे में तो आप जाते हैं ना सब, जाते हैं ना नहीं? तो रेलवे में जाते जाते स्टेशन पे गर्मा गर्म पूरी वाला बेचने लगेगा, गर्मा गर्म पूरी, और आप लोग तो स्टेज अंदर थे, लिया तो दो ऊपर से गर्म थी, दो नीचे से ठंडी थी। अभी बेचने वाले ने क्या समझ के बेचा और लेने वाले ने क्या समझ के बेचा? व्हाट इज द ईगल आई क्वेश्चन हियर, हु इज राइट? गर्मा गर्म पूरी वाला जिसने आप लोग पूरी बेचा वो बराबर है, या आप क्या समझ के लिए? हैव यू अंडरस्टूड माय क्वेश्चन? दोज हु डू नॉट नो हिंदी विल नॉट बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड। जो आप स्टूडेंट है, लॉयर है, गर्मा गर्म पूरी आपने क्या समझ के लिया? क्या समझ के लिया? हाँ, पूरी गर्म है वही समझा ना, मगर वो बेचने वाला बोलता है मैंने झूठ कहा नहीं है, मैंने तो जो बोला है वही कहा है। तो व्हाट डू यू कंसीव ऑफ दिस स्टेटमेंट? द सिंपल थिंग इज दिस, ही सेड सर आई हैव टोल्ड गरम अगरम, गरम वत्ता अगरम इज गर्मा गरम, तो मैंने गरम भी पूरी है और अगरम भी पूरी है, वो दोनों मिला के मैं तो बराबर हूँ। सो मगर ऐसा लोभ हमें नहीं पढ़ाना है, हमें जो सत्य है, क्योंकि लेने वाला तो गरम समझा है, तो वी डोंट हैव टू मेक सच टाइप ऑफ लैंग्वेजेस, वी शुड बी वेरी क्लियर एट हार्ट। आई विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट इन योर करियर, बी अ नाइस ह्यूमन बीइंग ऑफ दिस ग्रेट नेशन। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. Now I request our respected principal, Dr. Viril Dave ma'am, to introduce our honorable chief guest.
Thank you, Aryan. A very joyous morning to our chief guest, Justice Dr. Rebello sir, our office bearers of Kandivali Education Society, professors, students, and participants. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our today's chief guest, Justice Dr. Rebello sir. Sir has completed BSc LLB from University of Mumbai and has also been conferred with a PhD degree in law by Mumbai University. Sir started his legal career in 1973 and acted as president of Goa High Court Bar Association from 1994 to 1996. Sir was designated as senior advocate by the Bombay High Court in December 1995 and was appointed as a judge at the Bombay High Court on 15th April 1996. Sir took oath as Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court on June 26, 2010. Sir was also elected member of the Legislative Assembly of Goa, Daman and Diu in 1997 and has also taught various law subjects at Salgaonkar Law College, Goa. Currently, Sir is acting as arbitrator and legal consultant and is acclaimed arbitrator both nationally and internationally. Sir has to his credits more than 140 arbitration matters that he has resolved. Sir is also invited to give his expert opinion in international arbitrations. Sir is also and a member of the advisory committee at Mumbai Chambers of International Arbitration and an advisory council member at the University of Mumbai Law Academy, University of Mumbai. Sir, we feel very privileged to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request our core managing members to felicitate our honorable chief guest with a token of appreciation. It is now time to hear from our esteemed chief guest, a towering figure in the legal fraternity. Justice Ferdinand Rebelo sir has made significant contributions to the legal landscape of our country. His insights and wisdom will surely enlighten and inspire us. With great honor, I now invite Honorable Justice Ferdinand Rebelo sir to address the gathering.
The President of the Society, Mr. Mahesh Shah, the Treasurer, Mr. Naveen Sampath, Principal Dr. Dave, teachers, and my young friends. Nowadays I come for these functions because I hark back to the old days when I myself was a student like you. And it feels nice to see the vibrancy that I feel in these gatherings. So you are the new millennial students, the generation. You don't know what happened years ago. For you, it is what is happening today that matters. We used to read regularly the Supreme Court cases whenever the volume came. Today, you don't read it. When the occasion arises, you go to your computer and see for what is there in that, do the research. But you must always remember the past, to gather what was best in the past, so you can look to the future. You must know your background if you are to move forward. To us, we are law students. And why do you become a law student? You don't become a law student merely to make money. Okay, that is an incidental and accidental part of our profession. But you are here to uphold the rule of law, to protect the rule of law. And when you say the rule of law, what do you protect? Our fundamental rights, the right to life and liberty. And if we as law students and lawyers and judges don't protect this right, who will protect it? There was this American judge, learned hand. I don't know how many have heard about him. And I quote him, "Liberty lies in the hearts and minds of men. If it dies there, no constitution, no law, no court can help it." So we are the torchbearers in protecting this great right given to us by the Constitution. And when we speak about the Constitution, we can't forget the men who shaped this Constitution, those who believed in this India and that it must be guided by some concepts. I don't know how many of you all have read the midnight speech of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. At a stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India awakes to life and freedom. I do not know how many of you all have read the poem of Rabindranath Tagore, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. Into this haven of freedom, O Father, let my country awake. I do not know how many of you all remember the Mahatma, who said, "Let the culture of all nations blow into my house, but I will not be blown off my feet." Now these are the standards the thoughts which prevailed amongst us, who gave us the Constitution, ultimately ably drafted and presented the Constituent Assembly by Dr. Ambedkar. And on 26 November 1948, we gave to ourselves a constitution. A constitution which will guide us and live forever. There were dark days in our constitutional history when the fundamental rights were sought to be taken away. But there were men, there were judges who spoke out. If those who have read A.D.M. Jabalpur, that was one of the darkest days in India's constitutional history, when the Supreme Court held that our freedoms could be taken away. But there was a lone dissenting voice of Justice H.R. Khanna, who spoke out and said that there are certain rights which are inalienable. These are rights not given by the Constitution. These are rights which we as human beings are entitled to. And what the Constitution has done is merely recognize these rights. Ultimately, in the basic structure doctrine which was propounded then, it was ultimately accepted. It was sought to be reviewed. Ultimately, it was given up. And today we have a constitution where certain basic features of the constitution cannot be amended. And what are these basic features? They are encapsulated in the preamble to the Constitution of India. So never forget to read the preamble to the Constitution of India every morning, every day if possible. Because these speak about our eternal truths which the founding fathers have given us. Justice, social, economic or political. Liberty of thought, action, faith, belief. And above all, fraternity. Fraternity is brotherhood. That all of us, whether from the topmost points of Kashmir to the end of Kanyakumari, or from Assam to Gujarat, we may be different ethnic groups, we may speak different cultures, we may have different food habits, but we are a fraternity. We are a people belonging to this great nation. And you and me and the teachers, to us is given this duty cast upon us to protect this constitution, to defend this constitution. When dark days come, there are people who develop ideas and thoughts. It is not as if the constitution is a book merely written. It grows with times. It envelops the changing social norms. I happened to go to the United States and I was asking them, why don't you all amend your constitution like we do? I don't know, by now we are 110 or 114, I do not know. We go on amending our constitutions. It was in the context of the jury system which was still deciding matters. And one lawyer said, we don't have to amend the constitution, we don't have to amend the law. The jury understands the contemporary situation. They take that into consideration. So our juries decide that, and that is the amendment of the law. That is how they reach out to law. Now, when I speak about you all, these two great, the concept of life and liberty are two great concepts which should be inalienable, to which every citizen should be entitled to. We have laws today depriving citizens of their freedom. People are languishing in jails for want of bail, strict conditions. And at a time in our history, courts refuse to grant bail. I pose myself a simple question as a law student, you and me. How does an accused person defend himself if he is incarcerated for 5, 6, 7, 10 years before the trial begins? Is this the concept of law that we were brought up with? Is this the concept of law we should live it? Today, there seems to be some change in the higher courts. The flicker of liberty seems to have once again, like we have lit the lamp, have again been lit. People have been incarcerated for so many years, and at end of the trial, most of them are acquitted. What happens to them, to their life? We have people who are convicted of offenses, languishing in jails for 20, 30 years before the appeal comes up for hearing. And then somebody is set free. What happens to all these wasted years of life? You will say the system. But how do we improve the system is also something that we as law students, one of the first thing a law student must do is to learn how to articulate a point, learn how in the area of cross-examination which you are learning now in your law schools, how best not to ask a question, how to limit your questions. The greatest art that a cross-examiner student can develop would be first read your papers thoroughly, like how you now come for the moot courts. You spend your days and nights poring over the issues, doing your research, and then articulating your points. The same kind of depth which you do now, you must carry forward into your profession, because by that time most of the things are lost. So these are something that we must learn, imbibe, and keep forever. It can't be for a momentary day or for occasion when you come for your moot court. You owe it to your client, you owe it to the court, you owe it to the rule of law. And if everybody participates, because sometimes courts are helpless, with the sheer kind of workload that is up there upon them, they try to manage, but yet can't manage. But if they have legal assistance from those who appear before them, that will go a long way in shortening a matter, and thus at least partially help in reducing the backlog which are before us. We as citizens of this country are also part of the world. In my days, I read 2 books when I was in college. The History of the World by Toynbee, it's a monumental work, but there are 2 books, paperback editions, which gives you a compressed idea of the history of the world. And when you read the history of the world, it is not about the geographical boundaries. It is movement of people, of civilizations. Read this. Your thought process will give you a different concept. Read a book on philosophy of the world, again is a small book. It may not have Indian philosophers in that, but yet it gives a wide spectrum of life. Now these are such books that one must read, and don't leave it for the computer to read when you are to research. A wealth of reading is something honest. Read when you are in college, take time to read the basic judgments which will go a long way. And I think in all these activities, but then I will ask my principal also. Search out the basic judgments on every core provisions, core issues. Give it to the students, let them read it. And perhaps every year before the class closes, let them write on that. And this is what the American universities do. They don't ask you to read by heart the section because the book is available. Why should you read the book by heart? You go to a law college not to learn something by heart. You go to a law college to enrich your mind, to have your thought processes, to enrich yourself. And it is in this when you start reading judgments, trying to analyze them, and trying to work out the ratios, and most importantly, in trying to find out whether the courts down there have gone wrong on this concept, whether they could have looked at it from a different angle, because now that judgment was written 40 years ago. We are looking at it today in a different world where law has evolved, law has advanced, a thought process has advanced. So this is how you learn. You don't learn by reading jabwalas. The jabwala is okay, fine for the exam. And I'm told there is somebody new now who comes with those books. Okay, it is fine. Many of us, I was not one of the jabwala men, but there are people who read jabwalas and got their first class. And my days it was 66%, not 60%. Passing was 45% in the subject, and 66% was the first class. People have got first class with the jabwala. But that is all okay for the exam. You have the time now. You will not have time when you grow up and become a lawyer. You'll be busy. You'll be trying to run to court, coming back to the office, tired in the evening, going back. But this is the time where the most reading must have to be done. You are in 5 years. Give yourself this 5 years to read the best of the judgments coming from the Supreme Court and go back to time. But those are the judgments in the early development of the Constitution. We saw the evolution of Articles 14, Article 21. And look at the men. Justice Vivian Bose was hearing a matter of a Marxist leader who was waging war against India. And his petition was being heard by the Supreme Court. Normal reaction would be, why should this man go free? But Justice Vivian Bose said, no. I know he may go out and do it once again. But my predilections are my predilections. The law must ensure if there is non-compliance with law, you must go free. These were the kind of men. And now many of you have asked the president has posed questions to you all. I want to pose one question. We had Article 19, various freedoms, including the right to property. Now, is the right to property still a fundamental right? Anybody else? You see, the answer is, and I was with you all, in the sense I had the same concept. I did not know. Until I was hearing some 3 or 4 weeks back, Justice Joseph, retired Supreme Court judge, and he said, look up Articles 25 to 30, rights of minorities, linguistic and religious. They have the fundamental right to establish institutions, hold property. So therefore, see, this is something that for me all these years, I was totally blind. I had not seen it until somebody spoke about it, and I then checked myself that fundamental right, property is a fundamental right, still continues in certain aspects. It will not be for all, but still it continues as a fundamental right. Of course, 300, you can't be deprived, that's another matter, but I was posing this question as to how many of you all could have looked into it. Just as I had not looked into this, I had not known until somebody else pointed out to me. So these are what happens is when you come for the symposia and forums, you just don't come to sleep away. Of course, now is morning time, most of you all will be awake. But these are occasions where all of us gather something to carry back, a thought which may go into your mind. The bucket is opened, as I said, the tap is flowing. So these are occasions when you must open up your minds. I have spoken something, go back. Was he saying, is it the truth? Is there some depth in it? Or was it just for the sake of the audience because we are there and he wants to say something? Now these are things which you must go back, reflect and think about it. Have you gathered something from this? And you all are young law students, the students of the new millennium. Different values, different tastes, and different hindsights. But you must also carry the legal profession forward into new areas. It is up to you all. We will pass like any other generation. A new generation must come which will evolve itself into higher realms. What will you, when our time will go off, we ponder, what have you left for the world? I as a judge, did I contribute something sitting on that chair? I must have passed over 40,000 judgments between Bombay and Allahabad. But I remember one judgment still, and which to me, I can't say. If for me this 15 years as a judge was meaningful, forget the other environment and all which I have passed. There was one judgment which I can never forget. I was what we call a chamber judge giving children guardianship. Young children in India, apart from the Hindus, others can't adopt. They could be given only in guardianship. And there was this Christian couple who was there, who had 2 children in guardianship. They came in my chamber, happy, the parents were happy, the children were happy. And I asked the parents, what happens after they are 18? When the guardianship goes away, they have no right. And that's put in my mind a thought. Can I as a judge do something to help them? I took up the matter in the court. I heard everybody. There were people who assisted me in giving case laws, the various UN declarations on rights of the human rights, rights of the child, etc., and other material. And after pouring through all these judgments, as I quoted one of the English judges, says, he in his farewell address had written, I may have turned the law on the head. I turned the law on his head. I held that it is the fundamental right of every orphaned, every destitute and the category of children to have a name, to have a home, and to have a nationality, and to have the same rights as a biological child. This was one judgment that gave me great satisfaction. And it just arose from a simple thought, seeing those 2 young children down there. So this is something that all of us must, some of you will one day adorn the courts. Others will be lawyers. But bear this in mind. A simple thought, a simple idea can make a world of a difference to our youth, to our children, can make a world of a difference to our citizens, can make a world of a difference to the oppressed and the depressed. I leave you all, I wish I could speak more, but there are time frames. I leave you all with this thought. There was this American president, JFK, I don't know, John F. Kennedy, who asked his youth, ask not what the country can give you, but ask what you can give to the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words. I would now request Assistant Professor Tanya Sharma ma'am to propose the vote of thanks.
Honorable dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, faculties, non-teaching staff, participants, and my dear students. It is my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion on behalf of KES Shri Jayantilal H. Patel Law College. First and foremost, I would like to thank our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Justice Ferdinand Rebello, for gracing the occasion and sharing his precious time to be with us today. Sir, your rich presence and blessing have given us strength. I wholeheartedly thank you, sir, for your blessings and kind regards. I also take this opportunity to thank our esteemed KES management members for the support they render in each of our endeavors. Thankful to our principal, Dr. Viral Dave ma'am. Her devotion always helps the college to uphold its vision and mission. Her support, encouragement and motivation always have a positive impact in every academic efforts of the college. The college is fortunate enough to have backed by a team of motivated and dedicated teaching and non-teaching staff. I sincerely thank each one of them for their contribution in organizing this inaugural session. I must say that this fest would not have been possible without the help of our student volunteers. They have helped us throughout. I also extend my gratitude towards all the sponsors, Bombay Bar Association, Law Finder, Chawla Publication, Aarti Book and Company, Taxman, Savities and C. Our college alumni sponsor, Advocate Aisha Takkar, Assistant Professor Vidya Kolatkar, Assistant Professor Maitri Rao, and Advocate Nipun Mehta for providing us with funds for organizing this event. Last but not the least, I thank all the students for their presence on this occasion. Now I request everyone to please stand up for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
I would now request to all the professors to please come on the dais for a photograph. All the participants and students are requested to wait here until we inform you to leave. No one is supposed to leave. Okay. Okay, everyone, please take a note of this, that 12th board examinations are going on in this respective building itself. So the legal forum members